Shalom. All praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashemi Hashai, Bahashema Kodesh. Double honors unto the apostles and elders of GMS, who are the true leaders of Israel today. And salutations to all of the Akim who do this work in truth and sincerity, who are risking their lives and their freedoms to do so, as well as the scattered Israelites who come looking like the heathen but are not, by way of their forefathers' seeds who are Israelite men. The true name of the Most High is Yahweh, and his son's name is Yahushai. And the Lord's holy chosen people are the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, as well as the ones who suffer under the curses in the book of Deuteronomy. My name is Yakalio, and this video is on the imminent World War III. That is a part of Bible prophecy. Alright, the scriptures say in Revelation chapter 11 and verse 14, the second woe is past, talking about World War II, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly, which is talking about World War III. Alright, so World War III is a part of Bible prophecy, and it is coming. Alright, and as you can see, when you check the temperature of the world right now, and all of the major powers at play, they're talking about World War III, right? And it says here from MSN, reported by MSN.com, NATO's secretary warns of imminent war, calls Europe for urgent defense preparations against Russia. And these aren't things that are just happening by chance, or that they're just talking on it and it's not going to happen. We're past those kinds of days. You know what I'm saying? Where we would hear about rumors of wars. Now is the time that we're heading towards the prophecy of World War III coming to pass, right? Because in Matthew chapter 24 and verse 6, it says, "And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in divers places. All these are the beginning of sorrows." So Matthew 24 and 6 and 7, we've been in the midst of that, and you can see it. All right, America and her allies, NATO and the European Union, all right, which are all spoken about in the scriptures. America in Revelation chapter 17 is known as Mystery Babylon the Great, right, and referred to as Babylon in several other places in the scriptures, right? And then NATO is that beast that the whore rides. The whore is America, right? And you have the 10 horns, which is the European Union, all right? They're mentioned in Bible prophecy, man. And then you have them against Russia, right, which Russia is mentioned in Bible prophecy in Ezekiel 38, Gog and Magog, the land of Magog, the chief of land of Meshech and Tubal, right, to paraphrase. And it mentions that Russia is going to be going to war, and that they're going to have allies with them, which includes Persia, which is Iran today, right? And then you can also look at the world itself, okay? And you can see the allies of Russia, that includes those BRICS nations, right? So everything is building up, man. We're truly in those days. All right, we truly are. And it says all these are the beginning of sorrows. The beginning of sorrows, because terrible times are coming, man. All right, these things are going to bring about terrible things to the world. Okay? And, I have to say it, before the end of World War III, which will lead to the destruction of America, right? The mark of the beast prophecy, which is the microchip, has to come to pass first. And so this is why we're heading into these the beginning of sorrows, man. All right? Because even just the last week, Ukraine and Russia been going at it, retaliation after retaliation, and then Ukraine got hit, their power supply got hit, and they were saying like a very large portion of their citizens would be without power during the winter, and that's brutal out there, man. They deal with snow, they deal with extreme frigid temperatures, and if you don't have any heat, I mean, like, You can possibly like die, perish, stuff like that, man. Right? And that's just one of the ways that Yahweh Shemishah is bringing hell upon the earth, to the people. Okay, so NATO Secretary warns of imminent war, calls Europe for urgent defense preparations against Russia. NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte has issued a stark warning about the growing threats of war, urging NATO member nations to prepare for emergencies and significantly increase defense spending. With rising tensions, particularly with Russia, Rutte emphasized the urgency of shifting to a wartime mindset and bolstering defense capabilities. In his call for action, he highlighted the strategic vulnerabilities of nations like the Netherlands, which is seen as a potential target due to its logistical importance. Is the world heading toward conflict? Watch this video. Okay, cool. So I'm not going to play the video, all right, because I have some others to go to. So, it was reported on MSN, and, of course, I Googled it, and it says NATO chief asked European citizens to make sacrifices to boost defense, right? So this is the spirit that Yahweh Shemishah is putting out there, man, because we're getting close to the end. You know what I'm saying? And then here, from the people's voice, NATO orders citizens to sacrifice luxuries and embrace wartime mindset to prepare for World War III, right? So it is indeed verified, right? It's true information that they came out and they spoke about this. The threat of World War III looms, okay? And so he's telling the people, NATO citizens, to prepare for war, right? Rutte emphasized the need for turbocharging military budgets, noting that defense spending may come at the expense of social programs like healthcare and pensions. In other words, your current state of living is going to be decreasing, all right, so that they can spend more money on for this World War III, right? On average, European countries easily spend up to a quarter of their national income on pensions, health, and social security systems. He pointed out, we need a small fraction of that money to make our defenses much stronger and preserve our way of life. All right? So this war is coming, man. World War III is on its way. Okay? Yahweh Shemishah is really rousing things up, man. Okay? These are all signs of the times. And for you people, man, the time is going to come, because we're heading into the beginning of sorrows, and you Israelites, y'all gonna feel it, man. Okay? Only the elect of the nation of Israel will be preserved from the troubles to come. In Jeremiah chapter 30 and verse 4, it says, and these are the words that the Lord Yahweh spake concerning Israel and concerning Judah. For thus saith the Lord Yahweh, we have heard a voice of trembling, of fear, and not of peace. Ask ye now and see whether a man doth travail with child. Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins, as a woman in travail, and all faces are turned into paleness. Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. And he who? The elect of the nation of Israel, right? Because the majority of our people in America, right, 1/3 shall be saved and 2/3 shall be destroyed. The majority of our people are going to be suffering, man. The beginning of sorrows, that's where we're heading towards. What does war bring about? Great sorrows. You can look at the history of the previous wars, right? And actually, which video was it? I think it was this one. Let's watch it. Let's, because it's only a minute long.
Wants NATO countries to increase defense spending well beyond the 2% of GDP to which they are now committed. To this end, he has asked citizens to help put pressure on their governments and even make sacrifices.
Your politicians need to listen to your voices so that we can stay safe tomorrow. Tell them they need to spend more on defense so that we can continue to live in peace.
For example, Rutte believes that cuts will have to be made in pensions, healthcare and security systems in order to increase defense spending.
If we don't spend more together now to prevent war, we will pay a much, much, much higher price later to fight it. Not billions, but trillions of euros.
Rutte has argued that NATO faces a threat equal to or greater than the Cold War.
Right? So, that Cold War. And what happened during the Cold War, man? Okay, when you just Google Cold War, I'm gonna go to Wikipedia, right? And so the Cold War, right? It happened after World War II, right? The Cold War was a period of global geopolitical tension and struggle for ideological and economic influence between the United States and the Soviet Union being Russia, and their respective allies, the Western Bloc and the Eastern Bloc, that started in 1947, 2 years after the end of World War II, and lasted until the fall of the Soviet Union in 1991. The term Cold War is used because there was no direct fighting between the two superpowers, though each supported opposing sides in a major regional conflicts known as proxy wars. Aside from the nuclear arms race starting in 1949 and the conventional military deployment, the struggle for dominance was expressed directly via psychological warfare, propaganda campaigns, espionage, far-reaching embargoes, sports diplomacy, and technological competition such as space race. Okay, so they mention the Cold War, but the main mention about the Cold War, right, is that it is the United States and Russia being against each other. That's the main point I believe he made regarding the Cold War, right? Because we know the two different sides, all right? America and her allies versus Russia and her allies, okay? And the Lord is starting things up, man, and Jacob's trouble is coming. Because with this kind of Cold War, right, how is it going to happen now? Before they even start fighting each other, all kinds of things can happen. Countries can cut off supplies from countries, and countries will be affected, and people are going to be suffering. All right, and that's a part of the judgments of Yahweh Shemishai that is coming. All right, famine. All right, because even so, with this coming, right, you have over there Washington. I think AA is Washington. AA food banks brace for 10 million visits as families struggle with high grocery prices. And that's the inflation, right? That is happening worldwide, right? People's purchasing power is decreasing because of the inflation that's happening. People are suffering because of the inflation that's happening. 10 million visits as families struggle with high prices. The rising cost of living, particularly in housing and groceries, is pushing more families in Washington state to seek assistance from food banks. And it's not just Washington state, it's all around the world, man. In various different ways, people are falling from a certain economic status to a worse state of living. Okay, everybody's feeling that, right? OJ has said the percentage of food security in Washington state is about 25%. So 1 in 4 Washingtonians are experiencing food insecurity. That's a lot, man. 1 in 4, right? Experiencing food insecurity. And the Lord said that he would bring that, man. And you see this war, right? The tensions of this war and talking about spending more, this all affects how people eat. But for you Israelites, man, your food is gonna be taken away soon, right? Staff of bread. Looking for Ezekiel. In Ezekiel chapter 4 and verse 16, moreover, he said unto me, Son of man, behold, I will break the staff of bread in Jerusalem, talking about the Israelites, and they shall eat bread by weight and with care, and they shall drink water by measure and with astonishment, right? So the food supply is going to decrease, and war causes that, right? And it can bring about famine very quickly, especially when certain countries cut off certain countries, right? Because look at Jamaica, for example. I think the number is around 90% of the food is imported. So if Jamaica doesn't have any other food coming in, it only had to survive off of the 10% that it generates by itself. Can that feed the entire country? I doubt it, right? So that would bring about having to measure with care food and water, right? Terrible times are coming, man. Terrible times are coming. And the Lord said, because the Lord has warned our people consistently by way of his prophets. All right? The prophets are simply vessels sent by Yahweh Shemishai to warn the people of what is to come. Right? And it says in Ezekiel chapter 33 and verse 33, and when this cometh to pass, lo, it will come, then shall they know that a prophet hath been among them. Right? Because all of these things are going to come to pass no matter what. And the prophets of Yahweh Shemishai been telling the world, World War III is coming. The mark of the beast prophecy is the microchip. America is going to be destroyed by thermonuclear fire. The children of Israel, if you don't turn and repent, you're going to be destroyed by the Lord, right? The time of Jacob's trouble is coming, right? And you need to get this word as soon as you can and listen and hearken unto it, because the time is coming where you won't even have access to that word anymore by way of the prophecy of the famine of the word, right? And then famine is coming, pestilence, great judgments are coming from the Lord, okay? 2nd Ezra chapter 16 and verse 17 lets us know what time it is that's coming. Woe is me, who will deliver me in those days? The beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars, and the power shall stand in fear, the beginning of evils. What shall I do when these evils shall come? You realize he kept on saying, the prophet Ezra, when he saw the vision, he said, the beginning. And here we go back to Matthew 24 and verse 8. All of these are the beginning of sorrows. So this is where we're heading towards, man. All right. Behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendments. So this is going to be the way that Yahweh Shemishai corrects the Israelites that don't believe by way of terrible judgment, man. Okay. But for all these things, they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourges, right? So, we know that only the elect will turn to Yahweh Shemishai and will repent. All right. Behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon earth, that they shall think themselves to be in good case, and even then shall evils grow upon earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. For many of them that dwell upon earth shall perish of famine, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy, and the dead shall be cast out as dung, and there shall be no man to comfort them. For the earth shall be wasted, and the city shall be cast down, right? So the judgments are going to be so terrible from the Lord, and so frequent, and so, so magnified by Yahweh Shemishai. People are going to be dying by the hundreds, and there won't be any time to bury the dead. And then people are going to be in a situation of survival. The famine is going to be here, right? And, it is only by way of the grace and mercy of Yahweh Shemishai that, we will be able to get through this. Okay? But it goes to show you how terrible the times are coming. And, the world and the temperature, checking the temperature of the world, you can see it, man, heading towards this World War III. Okay? And then when it is that we're in all of this chaos and all of this trouble, the devil Esau Edom, right, will be doing whatever it is that he'll be doing. And then he's going to push out his NWO. And then at the forefront of that is his microchip, which is the mark of the beast. And he's going to be like, here, this is it. This is the solution for you to get out of all of this trouble. And then you're going to be faced with the hour of temptation spoken about in Revelation chapter 3, verse 10. Right? But woe unto those that turn unto Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, the rulers of this wicked kingdom today, for their salvation. Woe unto them, man, because the judgment is going to come for taking that microchip. Revelation chapter 14, verse 9 to 10. All right. And it says in Jeremiah chapter 17 and verse 5, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, cursed be the man that trusteth in man, and maketh flesh his arm, and whose heart departeth from the Lord Yahweh, right? Because that's what's going to happen. They're going to trust in man, and they're just natural, just through that, they're departed from Yahweh Shemishai, and that is a curse unto them. And the curse is going to be those judgments that will have to be felt. But those of us that do believe, Yahweh Shemishai is going to keep us safe in those times, man. All right? But the time is at hand. It's clear to see. All right? So that's all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh Shemishai, B'Shem Kodesh. Shalom.